Did you know you could actually make your sketches more painterly by using this secret weapon, the water-soluble graphite pencils? Keep watching to see how I use these pencils. I'm using the Watercolor 300 GSM paper from Scholar and the Faber-Castell Graphite Aquarelle. Now these pencils come in a metal box. It's priced at 800 rupees in India and I got it from Amazon for around 650 bucks. So it's a great deal. It's easy to carry because it's a very small box, very thin box. There are 5 shades in it. You have HB, 2B, 4B, 6B and 8B. These pencils can be used in a variety of styles. I'm sharing a few ways that I use them. The first one is where you put the dry pencil on the paper and then you apply water on it. You can see that it completely dissolves the pigment and you can even spread it out. Another exciting way of using these pencils is when you wet the paper and then you sketch using your pencils. This gives very nice blurred lines. For a more controlled working, you could apply the graphite with a wet brush. And once the graphite is dry, you could go over it again with your pencil to add in more layers. Also, it's kind of difficult to erase out the graphite once it's dry. I'm now doing a quick swatch of each of the pencils to know their values, that is the lightness or the darkness. I'm applying water on the tip of the graphite and then painting it directly on the paper. As we can see, the HB is the hardest and therefore the lightest amongst all, whereas the 8B is the softest pencil and it is the darkest. Now another way, as I mentioned previously, was that you sketch directly with your pencils on the paper and then you apply water. Now whenever you are applying water, just be careful that you go from light to dark, otherwise everything will just become a dark blob. I'm now going to do a very small, short, easy demo using 3 pencils, that is the HB, the 4B and the 8B. I'm doing an outline sketch of a lemon using my HB pencil and even marking out or shading out the lighter areas. For the darker areas on the lemon, I'm using the 4B pencil, whereas for the cast shadow, I'll be using the darkest pencil, that is the 8B pencil. Another important thing that you have to note is the kind of paper that you're using. Now I'm using a watercolor paper, but it has a medium texture. Now the pencils will behave differently on a smoother texture. They may look more vibrant and it will be more easier to spread. But I like the paper to have a bit of a tooth, so I use the medium texture. You could go ahead and use it on a smoother texture and find out how different it looks. So now I'm done with the sketching and now I'm adding water. As you can see, I started off from the lighter areas, going on to the darker areas. To blend in or create a transitional value, it's best to wash off your brush and then go ahead and add plain water to blend it. Well, you can also try out a lot of watercolor techniques like lifting off the paint when it's wet. So you could lift off the graphite with a thirsty brush, that is a dry brush, and it works perfectly fine. So basically these pencils work just like a watercolor pencil. That is, you could use them as a dry medium or you could then wet them with water, and you could also add more layers once the previous wet layer has dried. For me, these pencils are a great travel buddy because they just fit into your pocket and you just need a brush and some water to create magic. And this is it, an in-depth look at water-soluble graphite pencils with a quick demo to get you started. Thanks for exploring these tools with me today. If you have any suggestions for future reviews or demos, do mention them in the comments below. Until next time, keep creating and exploring new artistic horizons. Bye-bye.